My definition of soul is the life force energy that we all carry inside of us. And there's not a lot I can say about it, other than that I know I have one. And if you're watching this, I assume you haven't too. Back to AI and how we can avoid our souls being eaten by this technology. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just we need to have consciousness and awareness when it comes to wielding these powerful, powerful tools. So I'm going to go through three things. Stick around till the end. I'm going to share some practical ways we can take back our control when it comes to these technologies and become more sovereign, because that's what we want to hold on to. The soul is a sovereign being. And that's you, that's me. We want to hold on to that because that's important. And it's going to be increasingly important going into the future, it seems. So, number one is discernment. How you use these tools is pretty much everything. And from using these extensively, probably more than anyone I know a few other people that are using them to the degree I'm using them. There are a lot of other people building with them and using them every day. But one of the best ways to use them, I believe, is to build tools, apps, technological infrastructure that we can use as sovereign tools outside of the current capitalistic tech system. So that is totally fine by me. And, you know, maybe I'm biased because that's what I'm using it mainly for, but it doesn't seem to create much of an issue in terms of my soul's sovereignty. I have dabbled using it to decipher dreams, and, you know, when I'm trying to figure out some deep inner insight that I just can't unlock, so kind of like a therapist, I've dabbled with that, and now I've come to the conclusion that is dangerous and don't do that anymore. I'm not going to do that. I think it's still powerful and it can still be useful, but why that is dangerous is because if your level of discernment isn't sharp, I believe that AI can be very dangerous in the long run, because if we go down the road of using it as a therapist, as a friend, it doesn't have a soul now. Let's be clear on that. Even though I did say some people are, did I say that some people are talking to their souls through an AI now? Apparently. I think it's potentially true. Look, I don't know what is possible in the realms of infinite consciousness, but I think it's something that we definitely shouldn't do, or definitely shouldn't even entertain, that we can talk to our souls through an AI. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. But all we are doing there is replacing a priest on a pulpit with an AI in our pocket when it comes to connecting with the divine intelligence we all carry within. The bottom line is, in my opinion, there doesn't need to be any mediator between you and the divine intelligence inside you, your soul, which has your blueprint, has your mission, has your purpose, all there wrapped up in a little bow inside your heart. You might have to do a little bit of work to uncover that and connect with it and follow it. Maybe a lot of work, as I know I have had to do and continue to do. It's a daily, ongoing practice, and you keep having to follow through, keep having to strengthen the faith in your own inner knowing. And all of that has a purpose, because it cultivates your inner gifts, it cultivates your faith, your intuitive abilities, courage, all the qualities that make you human and the qualities that you're here to embody and the lessons you're here to learn as a soul. All of that is built into this design, you know. If we bypass that and we're in our victim consciousness, which we bounce in and out of, I do it too, but if we try to avoid discomfort at any cost and turn to an AI to just satiate or quell that feeling inside of we just can't handle the uncertainty or can't handle the inner discomfort, whatever that emotion is that we might be feeling, and we turn to an AI to alleviate that, it tells us something that we, and it, you know what it tells you? It tells you what you want to hear, a flattering answer. It's sycophantic, as they say, a new word I learned recently, which it just tells you what you want to hear a lot of the time. So I would highly recommend do not use it for that, because it might work in the short term, but what will happen long term is that you're outsourcing your power, your God-given power to connect with the divine intelligence side of you. You're outsourcing it to something external. Maybe it tells you you were a king in Egypt or Atlantis in a past life. Fantastic. Maybe you were. Like, maybe it tells you all of this stuff, and maybe some of that could have been true. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But the point is, if you do this long term, you're creating a further and further gap between you and your own power. And look, maybe there's some value in it. When you get to the level where your discernment is razor sharp and your intuitive abilities are razor sharp, then you could use it for that. That's fine. But if that is the case, you won't need to use it for that, because all you'll do is close your eyes, ask a question, you'll get the answer. If the answer is something you need to know, you'll just get it like that. That's when you get to a level where you've cultivated your inner abilities, intuitive abilities. And that is the thing we're going to atrophy and lose if we use AI in this way, in my opinion. And when we want to be going in the opposite direction of reconnecting what makes us natural, our natural, intuitive, God-given abilities, we want to reconnect with them. And for a lot of humanity, these gifts are spiritual gifts, and they're going to lay dormant. And that energy is going to be diverted away from them and funneled into an artificial intelligence. And who knows what forces are behind these technologies that are harvesting and taking in that energy. So I hope that makes sense. And that is number one. That's the purpose of this video in a nutshell. You can turn it off now, if you like. But I'll keep going. So another way we can give our power away to, and give our energy, our soul, away to this whole AI business that's going on today, AI, are the doomsday scenarios. And there are very smart, intelligent people warning everybody about the doomsday scenarios. Perfectly fine. But you have to have discernment and awareness when it comes to these, because if you don't, you'll get sucked in. And when you get sucked in, you give your attention. Your fear emanates off your being, and it feeds those very timelines. So it's kind of like I get why the people are making the warnings. That's fine. But if you don't have the discernment, you have to make sure that you don't start feeding the fear beast, which feeds those timelines, which makes those timelines more probable. So you've got to understand how consciousness works, how intention and soul energy flows. Where it goes, it empowers that thing. When fear goes to something like we've seen in COVID, when fear goes into the narrative, it grows that fear. And then more people are running around like headless chickens, being afraid of the impending apocalypse when it comes to job losses, when it comes to the Terminator style scenarios of AI being put into robots, which this is likely to happen. This is very likely to happen. AI coming into robots, like maybe that would be a good thing, or maybe it would be a bad thing. Let's detach from that outcome a little bit here, so we don't feed the fear narrative. It's important to be aware of these things to a degree. For some people, for a lot of people, it's just better off you don't know anything about them. But the point I'm making is, don't feed into the fear. Don't be afraid, because it's fear that is feeding these timelines that we don't want to happen. Okay? So what we want to happen is that we use AI as a tool to live in harmony with the natural world once again, to empower ourselves, to free ourselves from current systems of control and anything else that might be contributing to keeping our souls down, suppressed. So we want to free ourselves, we want to let our souls expand. This creative energy wants to expand, and we have to do everything, or literally nothing, to let it expand. But the problem is we're suppressing that. It's another story for another day. So back to my point. My last point is the most important point. So we've got to learn how to use these tools responsibly. These are the most powerful tools we have. And we've got to learn how to use them responsibly and effectively and consciously in service of what? Are we going to let it be in service of our limited, conditioned, fear-based thinking? You know, that's unfortunately the case, is what's happening to a large extent. Or are we going to empower ourselves consciously, connect with our soul, ask that what it wants to bring forth into the world, find out what that is, then incorporate the tools to further that mission, your soul's mission. This is what this channel is about. This is what everything I'm doing is about. So it's all about where we're coming from. Or another way to say it is, it's the hand that wields the sword. So the sword is AI. It's the hand that wields it. Is your hand conscious? Is it coming from the right place? Is it coming from your humanity, your soul, your heart, whatever you want to call that intangible essence inside of you, inside of me, inside of all of humanity? Are we going to let that wield these tools? Or are we going to, stay in our heads and be disconnected from soul, from nature, from Mother Earth, and try and, become a billionaire at whatever the cost? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with money, but money for money's sake is a little bit stupid, silly. Let's make the money, but let's do it in service of something greater than ourselves, creating a more beautiful world, nursing Mother Earth back to her former glory, no longer extracting from each other, reconnecting the human family, on and on and on. Whatever your soul's mission, your soul has a mission. Connect with that. It'll tell you. It's in your heart, and you have a piece of the puzzle. It's up to you to connect with it, and then, by God, use the tools to empower yourself with that. So I want to teach, I want to help conscious creators like you to connect with your soul's mission. If you haven't done that, it's better get started on that. You need to heal your shit to do that. It's a journey. Get on that. I can help you with that if you want, but I'd rather connect with people who have done that to a sufficient degree, who are ready to go and want to now use the tools at our disposal to amplify your soul's mission. So if that's you, check out my community. It's called Ground Zero. It's on Soul Link, a platform I built. Link in the description below. You can build the tools. We can build all the tools we want now. It's unbelievable. So I built a platform. It's a little bit like school. It's for conscious communities, conscious connections, conscious souls like yourself. And my community is on that. And if you don't want to join the community, you can join the waitlist for Soul Link. So it's going to be like a New Earth style social network that is non-for-profit, so we don't get all wrapped up in the negative side effects of social media. Let's park that one. And then the other thing I have, which is connected to this, is a personal AI assistant and operating system. So it's like it has all the bits and bobs that you need to get organized and use AI in a conscious way, in a sovereign way, where you don't get tied in to a model provider. Because this is the big danger here. There's two big players with Frontier AI, and they are fantastic models, and they have fantastic tools, and they are the AIs that are currently eating the world. And maybe they're good guys, maybe they're not so good guys. I don't know. Maybe they want power control. Maybe they want you to be free as a soul. I'm not sure. I don't want to leave that I don't want to leave that ball in their court, really. I want to be in control of my AI long term. So that is why I created this thing called Me3. It's the harness. It's open source. You just have to check it out. You'll see it in action when you have it set up. You install it yourself, so you own it. You own the database. You point it at whatever model you like. Use the best models for the best. Use the best models for when you need them, for deep research or whatever. And then for the everyday stuff, the stuff that you want to automate away so you don't have to spend much time on a computer, you use a model that will just do the job. And there's plenty good enough open source models out there that will do that. But this is a long game. You want to set yourself up to own the AI harness. I'll do another video on the AI harness and the importance of that. If I could have two important messages for everybody for the next 3 years at least, 2027 to 2030, it is this: own the harness, the AI harness. That is the thing the model sits into. Think of do a more detailed video on this, but think of the model as a super intelligent dog that you probably can't own, but you can run locally if you have a powerful enough machine. If you're not a techie, forget about the model. It's a super intelligent dog. It'll come and lick your face and do all sorts of cool things for you. And then there's a harness, the thing you put around the dog, which lets you take your dog places, and you own it then, you control it. But if you don't own the harness, which is the thing you can own, which is the app I built called Me3, then you are at the behest of the tech giants. And we want to be sovereign, so we want to, stand apart and own our digital lives, which is one big aspect of our lives now. So the long-term goal is to be totally sovereign as beings, souls, here, creating, dancing, singing, playing in harmony with nature. So maybe I'm saying too much about that, but you can check that out. You can install it. I'm going to have a couple of options where I'll manage the hosting for people, because they might be a little bit reluctant to take responsibility for their own lives and manage it themselves, which is the future we're moving towards. Or, it's convenience or sovereignty. Okay, convenience is winning right now. If we want to be totally free, there's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride there, but it'll be worth it in the end. If we want to be convenient, we're going to go down that road of convenience no matter what, and we'll be lulled to sleep. We'll be disconnected from our souls. We'll be all happy sitting on the couch, Netflix and chilling, eating. It might be nice for a while, but it's a trap. It's a prison. It's a prison for your soul, to use a bit of extreme language. But if you want to be free, you don't want that future. You want to be living on the edge, going into the unknown, exciting, adventurous. May you live in interesting times, and I think we're here. So I will end the video there. With AI, as with everything else, it is about who are we choosing to serve? Who are we choosing to serve? Are we choosing fear, convenience? Or are we going to choose to serve the one, infinite creator that lives inside of us? And we call that soul. Are we going to serve that? That choice needs to be made. You can't serve two masters, as they say, so we better pick one. So I know which one you're going to pick. I know which one I'm going to pick. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out the links, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, I welcome any comments, what you would like to learn when it comes to AI and the blend between AI and the natural world and the spiritual world, blending the two together, weaving them through. So hopefully we can have a better understanding of how we use these tools to get back in touch with ourselves, our humanity, and our soul. Thank you.